Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jackie Ina. It's Q&A time. I asked y'all on Instagram because I think I forgot how much I like these interactive videos where like I ask y'all questions and you answer and then we kind of like talk about them in the video. It was very bold of me to assume that y'all would not drag me in this process, but I had asked y'all what are some of your assumptions about influencers, because I find this phenomenon very fascinating because there's so much transparency yet mystery all at the same time, and I think there's also a lot of confusion about who we are, what we do. So I was just genuinely curious. I didn't realize it would be a lot of dragging, but it's okay because you know what? It's just a chance to inform people that otherwise probably just really don't even know any better, right? While I do that though, because I like to multitask, I'm gonna be taking off my makeup, and today's video does have a sponsor. Yes, in typical influencer fashion, but I'm proud to say that the majority of my videos are not sponsored. When they do come, I'm very grateful. Today I'm gonna be working with True Botanicals, and this has actually really been a really good product. Y'all, when I say that a product worked for me and my skin tone, and it happens to be sponsored, it's not just a sponsorship for me, it's also a testimonial. And I want you to remember that because it's important to me that no matter what, I align myself with brands and products that I actually do try. While I get ready, I'll be taking off my makeup, demoing this product. It is the vitamin C booster and the Chibula, I don't know how to say that word. Wow, I've actually just realized I've never needed to say that word. Okay, y'all, don't drag me because we're all guilty of using stuff that we don't necessarily know the best pronunciation of. Don't drag me. Basically, they created a vitamin C that's in powder form. I'm gonna be demonstrating it today in my video as I take off my makeup and as I drag some influencers, as well as pairing it with the Chibula, as I'm gonna stop saying that word. It's the active immunity serum, right? Anyway, let's just get started. Okay, I'm actually really tired, so this is like a real skincare moment, guys, and if it's late for you and you're watching this at night, you can remove makeup with me too. I take a Q-tip soaked in micellar cleansing water and I rub it along like the band of my lashes. I always take my lashes out first because you know I do preserve. I don't be paying all that money to not reuse them, girl. When I'm going to bed and I'm removing my makeup, I only pull off a strip if I'm like, I gotta be like really tired. Or maybe drunk, but I don't really get drunk like that. So I really have no excuse for the most part. Okay, so the first assumption is debt. So much debt, mountains of debt, all the debt, drowning of debt. They're basically saying that most influencers are in debt. Well, when you consider the fact that, like, I don't know, the last time they did a study on careers and stuff, didn't they say there was like well over 1 million influencers? That's a lot of people. I think one thing people don't realize is the majority of influencers are not like considered the 1%ers that are multimillionaires, that are over and above 1 million subscribers. A lot of the average influencers still have day jobs, still very much so have student loans and regular schmegular debt, just like the regular schmegular average person. They just so happen to be an influencer, part-time, full-time, whatever. So you can't necessarily say that that's like true for the majority of influencers, but of course there are some influencers with debt, because like debt is, I think, a normal part of young adulthood. I think that's a normal part of most people who live in America. Do you know what I mean? Influencers, I don't think are any different. It depends on the person. I feel like a lot of people lie about their lifestyle for clout. I'm gonna pre-cleanse with some cleansing oil while I discuss this one. This is a cleansing balm. I like to warm it up in my hands for a bit. And you always want to pre-cleanse when you're removing makeup or SPF because it just breaks down like the first layer of, you know, gunk, debris, makeup that's on your skin. All right, so lying for clout. Yeah, it happens, it does. I personally don't know a single person who does that because ew. I think people lie for clout because they think that's what influencers are supposed to do, and that's not actually what the majority of influencers do. You know how they say everybody from LA is fake, right? So I'm born and raised in LA, and it's actually not true. What happens is people move here and they kind of have like preconceived notions about the city in their head. So what they do is they move here and they're like, oh, I'm falling right in line. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do when I move to LA. I kind of feel like people believe there's like an influencer starter pack, and flexing for the gram is one of those things, but the majority of influencers don't actually do that. I know a lot of influencers that still work day jobs. They're just literally like normal people. They're not the people taking pictures in front of other people's Raris at the Beverly Center pretending that that's their car. Like the average influencer that I know of does not do that. I don't know if that helps, but I just don't see it for the majority of the world. You feel me? PR is no big deal at this point and a hassle if anything. I can confirm that to be true, and I know that some people are gonna think that that's ungrateful, but I think when you constantly get something that's readily available, it kind of loses value over time, right? Because if you get so used to something, eventually it's just gonna become your new normal. This is both a good and a bad thing, because I know that me saying that is probably gonna come off as me being ungrateful. I've heard this before. I think that's BS though, because how are you gonna call me ungrateful for me looking at PR as just PR? To me, I would think that people would appreciate the fact that I don't fall over and piss myself over lipstick, because I can take the emotion out of the product and just look at it as product and give you guys true and unbiased reviews, right? Versus when you're emotionally attached to something, or if you get something for free and you've never gotten stuff for free before, you're probably gonna be a little bit more likely to just say nice things because you're honored that you got the product for free. Does that make sense? Guys, you can double cleanse for like up to 5 minutes. I think they call it oil pulling. I've seen LA Beautyologist, you guys know I love shouting her out. I've seen her talk about this where you just kind of like do it for an extended period of time. I do this no less than 60 seconds. So it's oil and I have oily skin. It's definitely a very oil loving process. No, it's not gonna make you super oily. And even if it does, it's not the end of the world. It's supposed to pull the impurities out of the skin, and you're supposed to only do that though, like once a week, don't do this every day. But the influencer life is really easy. If only. Honestly, I wish it was easy. I wish it was easy, but if it was easy, girl, everybody would be doing it, and that is no shade. Well, I guess everybody kind of is doing it. Everybody will be doing it successfully. That's what I should say. It's not easy, but I think where influencers mess up is by trying to say being an influencer is harder than a day job. You're lying. You're lying. Not physically, no. It's not as physically taxing as like my old job, being a vet, working retail, working in food service. Do the two compare? Absolutely not. I would never trade my job for anything in the world. I love my job. It has its flaws, I love my job. What they mean is it's probably more tedious and it takes more skill. I think that's what people should be saying. So I've definitely seen this debate back and forth about like, oh, it's way easier to be an influencer. You just sit on your butt all day. Gotta be in denial. If you really genuinely think this job is easy and that is there makeup on my teeth? All of us at this point are like 3 degrees separation or 5 degrees separation from knowing at least one person who's tried to be an influencer and has failed. It's not easy at all. It's just not. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to be on camera. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to open up this app and be called an ape for no reason. Just because you don't like me, for no reason. And people come for your family. People try to find out where you live. It's a lot. Those are things you don't have to deal with like a normal job, but that's what I mean. It's a different type of challenge. If you can just get through the mental part about being an influencer, I think you'll be fine. You don't like being asked about selfies if you see fans when you're out and about. I can't speak for everybody else, but that's definitely not true for me. Love the way it feels removing a cleansing balm. Oh, that's not true for me. I actually appreciate a good picture, girl, especially when I'm looking good. Hear me out, y'all. I've never said no to a picture up until oh, I don't even want to say the V word. That was happening. I never said no to pictures until like last year when like things had just started opening up again. And the only reason why I did that was honestly because from a social standpoint, I was just trying to be really careful and I didn't want people to think I was promoting being out and about. I remember the first time I was recognized in a Target and someone was really, really cute and had asked me for pictures, and low-key, like, I don't like saying no, like I feel bad, but at the same time, like I have to, one, protect them because I could have been sick and they might not have known that. But I was like, well, you know, it would require us getting close, and I was super, super cautious about social distancing and like what it would look like posting picture. I don't know. It's just like, it's a little too soon. That's literally the only time I've ever said no to somebody. I don't even think I've said no to people who were, because some people are not that nice when they ask for pictures. I don't even think I've ever said no to them. You know what I mean? Like, you just take the picture and you get it over with. But yeah, I definitely last year was just like, I hate saying no. But other than that, I've never had a problem with it. And in fact, I encourage it because I'd rather somebody come up to me and say, hey girl, like, what's up? Instead of like being uncomfortable and staring. Because that is what, I'm not gonna lie, as a woman, my fight or flight kicks in. If I see you in a corner staring at me and not speaking, not smiling, not wink, something, girl, cough, something, I'm gonna be paranoid. Like, that's just my knee-jerk reaction is to get concerned. Do you know what I mean? But can you blame me though? Can you blame me? I'm a petite woman. Ooh, yikes. Out of touch with reality. Recommending things that aren't realistic for lower/middle class. I don't think that's true for the majority of influencers, because I know a lot of influencers that do recommend products that are at a more approachable price point. I think people are conflating the top 1% of creators with like all creators, but they're called the 1% for a reason, and that's a very low, minute. Like, not every influencer's balling. They don't work with indie brands. I mean, indie brands literally, a lot of them got their start from YouTubers, so I don't agree with that. And I don't subscribe to that or see that at all. They are insanely rich. You are all loaded and live only on luxury stuff. They're all insanely rich. This is what gets people into trouble. I remember when people thought I was rich because I had 200,000 subscribers. And I'm like, I don't even post expensive stuff. So when did we conflate having a lot of followers to having a lot of automatic, like, oh, once you hit 200,000 subscribers, you get promoted? That's not how it works at all. And I remember back in the day though, I had needed help with something. I started a GoFundMe. It was to help me pay off tuition. And I think at the time people were like, aren't you balling? It's like, girl, define balling, because I still could use a day job. In fact, are you hiring? It gets tricky because people assume you're rich, and then when you're not rich, they make fun of you. So then that's where you get the people who start faking it for clout, because nobody wants to be made fun of. Nobody wants to be like humiliated for not living up to a certain standard. We all know the bow wows who feel like they have to flex in a certain way. But I feel like if he lived within his means, let's be real, y'all would make fun of him. Y'all make fun of me. Let's just tell the truth. Someone literally was like, you make too much money to have a top loading washer machine. First of all, why are you counting my coin? That's the first thing. Two, it's a washing machine that works. Mind your business and your wallet, okay? By the way, that was my special cleansing gel from Dermalogica. I use this for like my heavier makeup days. I like using that for like a deep cleanse, but it's not stripping. Yeah, I don't know, social media is such a double-edged sword. It's like, if you don't look rich, you get talked about. I don't think people realize how much comments and feedback really do affect people. I promise you, nobody fakes clout for no reason. Like, nobody just wakes up one day and is like, I want to portray a light. Well, some people do that. They're weird. I feel like if people just lower their expectations about what someone with like 100,000 subscribers or 50,000 followers is supposed to look like or is supposed to do, or what car they're supposed to drive because they have a lot of money, I think we'd have a lot more authentic people. That's just my theory. To answer the assumption, no. A lot of influencers are not loaded and living on luxury stuff and wealthy. I think of somebody who's wealthy like Kylie Jenner. Her grandkids are gonna be fine. She's created generational wealth. That's a little different from like driving a Tesla. It's not the same. You know, it's like, it's not the same. It's not even close. It's great, but it's just not the same. It's not the same. And anyway, all influencers aren't rich. I'm here to tell you they're not, because a lot of people are just out here trying to make something of themselves, as they should, period. I'm rooting for everybody, but especially everybody black. That wasn't on topic, but it doesn't matter. It's still relevant. Life is easy for you and you're always happy. Ooh, this makes me really sad when people say stuff like this, because I've even had to talk to family members about this kind of stuff. Whenever something would happen, or if I'm going through something, it's almost like people's eyes would glaze over and they would just be like, oh, but your life is perfect. And I'm like, I told you I lost a family member. Like, what does that have to do with, what does having 3 million subscribers have to do with the fact that I lost a family member? Like, where's the correlation? No, my life is not always happy. I think it appears that way because I don't feel comfortable documenting trials and tribulations, at least not while they're happening. Looking back, I can talk about my divorce. No, I'm not doing a story time video on that. Don't ask, please. But you know, I can talk about old relationships I've been through way later. But like, when you're going through it, I don't want to be on TikTok going through it with y'all. I don't. I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to go through my things based on the fact that like, I don't post negative stuff. Of course you're gonna think my life is always happy, but it's absolutely not. In fact, somebody yesterday pissed me off. I had to check a heifer. Do I have different types of problems? Yeah. It's nice that I don't have to worry about paying rent. And I hope y'all don't mind, I'm literally just being honest and transparent, because like, I just feel like I'm having like a little girl's talk. I don't have the same types of problems I had 4 or 5 years ago, where I had to worry about like where rent money was gonna come in and stuff like that. But do my problems just cease to exist because I'm now successful and an influencer? No, not even close. After I wash my face, I do like one light layer of my micellar cleansing water, because there's almost always pesky little leftover traces of makeup around the edges, my hairline, definitely around my eyes. Like, it's just like one little last minute safety measure. Those of y'all who be waking up with crusty eyeliner, I don't trust y'all. 6 feet. In fact, you need to give me 9 feet. No, I'm just playing. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. They get free stuff and still call themselves broke. I don't think the majority of influencers do that. I know like only one person who does that. That person is canceled, so moving on. They have no personality. Not you though, you funny AF. You know what, to be honest with you, y'all, I think this is actually kind of true, because if you really think about it, a lot of people come to YouTube to break out of their shells. And let's say you have a toxic home life, right? Because a lot of influencers do have a toxic home life. And when I started my channel specifically, I was literally running away from my home life. So that's why I started my channel. You are obviously at home reclusive, you're quiet, you're reserved, you're not bubbly funny, you're not, because you're just not happy at home. When you're at work or maybe when you're at school, you come alive, you're around people you love, people who compliment you, people who you like spending time with you. But think of social media as the same exact thing. It's almost like you come alive, because for the first time, for some of us, we are really like being appreciated, we're being like loved on, we're being like admired. So I would say that is true for some. Do I think that's true for all influencers? Absolutely not. There are some people who are just as extroverted in person as they are on camera, and God bless them. It's a great talent. They'll sell their soul for a brand deal. Okay, brand deals don't pay that much, girl. My whole soul, girl, just to say I got some Arm & Hammer toothpaste is not that deep. I'm gonna apply some of my essence. Y'all sometimes feel obligated to share about your personal lives. This is, yeah, I think this is definitely true. I think it's very easy to get caught up in like your followers being like, oh, show us this, show us your house, show us your pet, show us your kids, show us your clothes, your outfits, your shoe closet, da da da. Because when you're like posting content and people are like giving you attention and they're telling you how much they love you, it's very easy to get caught up in that. But I find that some things I literally just, it's not that I don't want to share them, but I don't post about, because like I have to have some things to myself. I've seen what happens when people overshare, and I told myself a long time ago, I don't want to get caught up in that at all, because it's very hard to like climb yourself back out of it. Do you get what I mean? The most consistent people ever. Much respect to content creators. Thank you. I was losing hope. Finally a positive comment. Okay, I like to apply some aloe vera, especially when my skin is a little more sensitive, or you know, I'm still using like my winter skincare routine. And aloe is, actually this is arnica. There's aloe in it, but this is from my esthetician Guidance to Glow. And arnica is kind of like Neosporin, but for your skin. Yes, I do touch my face. It's not the end of the world. I'm the only person who uses this product and my face is clean. I only apply my skincare to clean skin. And that's what you should do too. Yes, influencers have to be consistency just by the nature of the job, right? Influencers would not exist without consistency at all, because in what world would you apply for a job knowing that you probably might not get paid some months? Would you ever do that? Chances are you probably wouldn't. And it's hard. It's not always rewarding at all, period. I think it's harder than it seems. I could never. Yeah, I think it's definitely a lot more emotionally taxing than people realize. Like I said, it's just not a guaranteed reward, girl. And like, we don't even be getting health insurance. It's not a guaranteed bag. So with that said, yeah, I think it is harder than a lot of people realize. They only interact or collab with top influencers and not ones on a smaller scale. That's not necessarily true, and I feel like people are underestimating what collabs are actually supposed to do. Collabs are supposed to be like mutually beneficial for both parties involved. So I feel like it's the most effective to collaborate with people who are either like within the same subscriber / follower range as you are, or somebody that's in the same category as you, because it's supposed to be mutually beneficial. These are my Sugar Lip Wonder Drops from Fresh. I love these. This is my lip exfoliant. This is so good. It's like a chemical exfoliant, but for your lips. Now let's get into what has been significantly improving my skin. I'm gonna even just say, I think every brown girl needs some type of vitamin C in their skincare regimen. But what makes the vitamin C booster really unique from True Botanicals is that this comes in powder form. I've actually never seen this before in a brand ever. And I know you guys have heard me talk about vitamin C for quite some time, well, off and on for quite some time in my skincare routine. As many of us that use and love vitamin C know, vitamin C sometimes expires really fast. Once it starts turning colors, once it's exposed to like oxygen and light, the vitamin C starts to like, they call it like oxidize. It's kind of useless. So True Botanicals invented a powder version of vitamin C. I'm not sure if this is the only one. This is just the only one I'm familiar with. So help me God, okay? What makes this great is you can not only use this on its own, you can mix it with masks, you can use this with your face wash, you can spot treat with this, but it's meant to be mixed with the Active Immunity Serum as like a booster. You're getting the benefits of the Active Immunity Serum, which is anti-aging. And as somebody who's 33, that's important to me. Even before I was in my 30s, that was important to me. But now you get a vitamin C booster that you can add to it to get the best of both worlds. Vitamin C is really good for people who, like myself, deal with acne scarring, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is another way of saying acne scarring. Anybody who is looking for something that's gonna help brighten, not lighten, these are very, very different things. Brighten means overall the skin just looks glowing from within. The skin is overall just kind of even. It evens everything out. The skin looks less dull and more bright and glowy. Vitamin C is a must. The fact that it's in a dark brown bottle and the fact that it comes in a powder form ensures that the product is stable, girl, because some of these products, like, girl, like, if you only cute for like 2 months, I'm not getting my money's worth. So I'm gonna show you how I demonstrate both of these. I'm very proud of the fact that my favorite estheticians like and approve of this product. Just saying. If you don't take my word for it, just look at the reviews. Look at the material. Sometimes I wish people would use their resources a little bit more wisely. If you don't believe in influencers reviewing a product, you know you can just look up non-influencer testimonials too, right? That's a thing. The two go hand in hand. It's not one or the other. Use them both. If you really feel like somebody's review is, if you don't take my word for it, just look at the material. Both of these products are suitable for all skin types. They say you can use this during any step of your routine. I personally like to layer my serums based on how heavy they are, because it doesn't make sense to put something super watery over something that's super creamy and thick, because it's not going to penetrate. Do you get what I mean? That's why I applied arnica and aloe first, because that was a little bit more slippery, more watery. The anti-aging serum is kind of thick. And then what I do with my vitamin C booster is I shake 1 to 2 times. So basically you get this, and then I mix the concoction on up and just press it straight into my skin. Yes, I usually do hit my neck and my chest, but I still have lotion and creams on, so I'm not gonna go there. I'm only gonna apply it on the clean part of my skin. And this method is my favorite way to use it. The brand says that you can also mix this in with an essence or a serum or a moisturizer. It is pregnancy safe, cruelty free, and vegan, because I know that matters to some. And I'm gonna show you guys what my skin looked like as a dark skinned woman. I struggle the most with getting and keeping not only an even complexion, but like a bright complexion. And this is something that a lot of people ask me about, like, how does your skin always look so glowy? 1, I moisturize a lot and I stay hydrated, but 2, using products that are like antioxidants, vitamin C, niacinamide have done wonders for my skin over the years. It is definitely a must. What's unique about this blend though is you use these at night. Normally with vitamin C, I'm used to using these during the day. These two I use at nights. And make sure you wear SPF the following day. Just saying. Thank you again to True Botanicals for sponsoring today's video. As usual, guys, I'm gonna include links to everything down below. I hope you guys try this out, and I really think you guys will actually like this product. It's really good. It's kind of got the clean, like, no frou-frou la-la ingredients vibe, and I know that that's what a lot of people are really interested in. So if you're looking for a brand that kind of appeals to that, definitely check them out. My nighttime routine also consists. Why did I do that? I was trying to say it consists of water. Please drink water. Even if you don't think it's doing anything, you should still drink water, because that's how it works. Drink water. I always use a hydrating serum. Girl, this is from Glow Recipe. It annoys you when people assume that your job is easy. I mean, it used to, but to be honest with you, like, I'm kind of like at a point now where I'm like, I don't care what you think. The check's still cleared. I don't care what you think. The check's still cleared. Now, it doesn't annoy me as much as it used to. It used to really be like, oh, those years are done. I don't really care. I just feel like people don't realize that creative jobs still take a skill and a knack that a lot of people don't have. I can sleep at night knowing that I'm doing what I do and I love what I do, and that's not something that keeps me up at night. Y'all hate each other but speak for optics. Well, to be honest with you, a lot of white influencers do that. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because honestly, okay, just hear me out. Hear me out. If you could put your personal feelings aside with me and still, like, chase the bag, I'm not mad at that. Like, that doesn't hurt anybody at all. Like, that literally hurts no one. Pretending to be friends with somebody that you kind of like don't really like, unless y'all are perpetuating a stereotype or y'all are doing something that's literally harmful, I feel like that, to me, it's not really something that I care about. Probably eye roll worthy. And is it fake? Yeah, it's a little fake. There are definitely some prominent influencers who are not as, the friend groups do be business. They are motivated by clout and money. I see it. I have seen it. Could I do it? It'd be really challenging. Don't think I can. Could never be me. I don't think I could do that, and that opportunity has never presented itself to me anyway, and I think I just don't have that. I don't think I attract that kind of, I shouldn't say attract, but like, I just don't think people see me as a person who could even do that. Couldn't be me, but more power to people who can. They hardly buy makeup. It's technically true for a lot of us who have been doing this long enough and like have a lot of followers. Technically, we get a lot of product for free, but being realistic, I'm gonna even go as far as saying like 70%. Nah, it's definitely more than that. 70% of the makeup that I use and skincare that I use, I buy myself, because I don't feel, this is oil, by the way. This is from my esthetician. It's her apricot, vitamin B, E, and grapefruit oil. It smells so good. I mean, when I need stuff replenished, like, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm not gonna wait for somebody to send it. I just want it now. Give it to me now. I love a sleeping mask, and I know it looks really creepy because this oil is dripping in my face. This is stupid. I'm gonna use my Belief Aqua Bomb sleeping mask. I love a sleeping mask. Again, it's just another product that's gonna make me super shiny. Well, this one's actually not that shiny. It kind of like soaks right into my skin. I used a lot. I really moisturized. Can I also just say the top comment that I also got a lot of was that we get a lot of stuff for free. That's not necessarily true. I'm not gonna get a free house. I'm most certainly not gonna get a free Range Rover for doing this. So nah, like the influence ain't that, it ain't that high. It ain't that high, not for me. A lot of the products they advertise they're not good, but as long as the check is right, shrugs. This one I don't agree with, especially if y'all like watch me, because most of the products and the brands that I use are already highly reputable, highly reviewed, highly talked about, highly raved about. So I'm gonna speak for myself on this one. That's not true. The reviews on the products I talk about prove that. So I mean, I can't say all of them because I don't be reading them, girl, but like I do actually like use the stuff that I review personally. My opinion cannot be bought, sorry. There's barely any privacy. Yes, yeah, that's true. It's a lot. Like, it's just a lot. Influencers are narcissistic. I saw this come up a lot, and like my first issue is like, y'all need to stop. Look, y'all should have never learned the words narcissistic and gaslighting, because now y'all think it applies to everything. It don't. First of all, y'all need to stop diagnosing people because that's an actual disorder. It just doesn't work that way. You can't just diagnose people. Like, I'm sorry, you can't. You may think it, they may have tendencies, but you just can't diagnose people. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. I've heard people say that I'm narcissistic because of my theme song, but it's a song that existed before the logic. Because then it's like people will say you're narcissistic for anything now. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure. There's definitely people who probably could easily be diagnosed with narcissistic disorder. Absolutely, sure. But I can't definitively say that. I'm not a therapist. You know, I'm not a psychologist. That's how I feel about that. Because I feel like now it's like, all right, y'all are just saying this because the person's confident or the person big ups themselves. And I personally don't like being misjudged, so I don't like to do it to other people. You all base your self-worth based on the number of followers you have. I honestly think my followers do that more than I do. I almost kind of feel like I can't post anything now without someone asking me, why don't you have more followers? I'm only speaking for myself from saying this because I've absolutely heard some influencers say that they couldn't see past followers and they felt like that was their only worth. So I think that exists. I don't think that exists for the majority of influencers, but I also feel like that stigma does come from followers, and the bar keeps getting higher and higher. So before, it used to be enough to just have 1 million. Now we see other influencers with like 18 million, 22 million. We're constantly being compared to them for some odd reason. Never mind the fact that I'm not white. Anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. I feel like other people base more of our worth based on followers more than we do. Personally, that's just my experience, because there's been so many times I'm like, y'all, like, yes, I know, I see what you see. Yes, sure, I could have more followers, but I'm good. Like, I love what I have. I am extremely proud of the platform and the community we built. That should be enough. We don't always have to talk about why I'm not doing what somebody else is doing all the time. I get it. I've been on this platform for 12 years. Let's move on. Let's talk about lipstick, guys. That's just my opinion though. And I mean that, like, I don't mean that to like come down on people, because I know that people mean well when they say it, but it's almost like, how would you like it if I showed up to your job and I constantly ask you, why haven't you been promoted yet? Why don't you make more money, girl? Like, why haven't you been promoted? Girl, I don't know. Don't you think if I knew I'd be promoted? Damn. I hope y'all don't take it the wrong way that I'm just being candid. I was just trying to put that in perspective, because I think that's a two-way street, and I've seen it go both ways. Absolutely. They have no soul. They have no what? They have no what? Pardon? They're like normal people like us. They're not perfect, but they work very hard. I admire you though. Thank you so much. That's very true. There's different levels of normal. Like I said earlier, obviously I have come so far where I am now versus like when I first started my channel. So normal for me looks very different, but I have a normal relationship. I have family issues just like everybody else does. I go through trials and tribulations too. Yeah, a lot of us really are just like normal people, believe it or not. Okay, so I like to put avocado oil in my nose because I sleep with a humidifier, and because I live in California, and Southern California is very, very dry. So I tend to get dry nose, sometimes allergies. Like, I didn't start really getting allergies until probably my 30s. It was very foreign to me. I had no idea what I was experiencing. In fact, I was very upset about it. But yeah, girl, a little apricot oil. Please don't put other oils. I don't know if other oils are safe to use in your nose. I have no clue. I just know this came recommended from a doctor. Apricot oil. It keeps the nose moist, so you're not inhaling and breathing in dry, disgusting air, and sleep with a humidifier, by the way. Not a purifier. Well, you can do both, but they're not the same thing. They do complete, y'all know that, right? That's a completely different thing. If you have to choose between a steamer and a humidifier, go with the humidifier. You guys are materialistic, but act like you're not. I'm definitely not the person who acts like I'm not materialistic. I like stuff. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't really know who acts like they're not materialistic. I don't really know anybody that does that. I can't think of anybody. Almost everyone has Botox / fillers. No. I hate when somebody says that I did something that I didn't do. People have been saying I got Botox before I could even afford Botox. It's not my fault my forehead is shiny. There's nothing I can do about that besides prime and powder. Not everybody can afford that, and Botox and fillers are an expensive thing to upkeep. Sorry to disappoint you, but it's just not true. And even if they did, that'd be okay, because I am pro do whatever you want to do with your body. Last assumption, this one actually wasn't really an assumption, but someone said no assumptions, but I think it's good to remember I will only see snippets of your lives. And I feel like that's the perfect way to end tonight's video. Well, I really enjoyed taking off my makeup. I almost kind of want to do this again, but like with another Q&A. Because doing something while I answer the questions was actually really fun. And yes, you do only see a snippet of most influencers' lives, and that's okay. I try to do the best that I can to balance putting myself out there without compromising my privacy, because I feel like the more people know about me, the less happy I am. I'm happier when people know less about me. Even when their assumptions about me are wrong. I've learned over the years, I don't have to prove myself anymore. So, you know, if there's certain things that you see me not sharing or not talking about, just know that like it's just for my own peace of mind. It makes me happier. I hope that you all come here because you enjoy my little corner of the internet, that for the most part, I try to be, I hope my oil isn't, because sometimes it drips out, oh my God. Anyway, I'm just trying to say, I really hope that you guys come to me because you trust me and you love my content and you learn something and you gain something from it. All of the other stuff that we hate, because even myself, there are things that I hate about influencers. Just know the majority of them, the majority of us really are do-gooders, and we really do try to put our followers' best interests at heart. I know that sounds hard to believe, but that's just the general consensus from the people that I know and like the ones that I follow and the ones that I see. We really do try to put our followers at the forefront of like the content that we put out and just trying to be really conscious of what we do. That's not necessarily true for all influencers, but it is true for the ones that I know, and I hope that you guys know that and understand that. Thank you guys again for watching and hanging out with me on today's video. Thank you again to True Botanicals for sponsoring today's video. All links, as I mentioned earlier, to the products that I used and featured in today's video will be linked down below. Surely you have time to watch one more video. I mean, I know you're probably going to bed. Disregard that. Okay, if the kids are asleep, just watch another video. You know you got time. I put it right here. You're gonna click or you're gonna sit there.